In a sport where the strongest and fastest dominate the NBA, a player has emerged who, with his intelligence, has been able to dismantle his opponents. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the most promising young star of the moment, and even though he plays for a team in rebuilding mode, there's no doubt we are witnessing a future MVP and a superstar of the NBA's new era. Today, we uncover how a young Canadian often overlooked climbed to the top with a mental game that destroyed his rivals, using a game IQ that embarrassed even the league's biggest and strongest players. How can someone win in such a physical game relying mostly on their intelligence? What makes him so exceptional? This is the story of a player who sees the future of every play. It's time for SGA to shine. In a league where strength and speed often rule, it's rare to find a 6'6" point guard with a 180-pound frame and an extraordinary 6'11.5 wingspan. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has used more than just his physical tools, Shai's IQ. On both ends of the floor, he tears apart his opponents, piece by piece. So where did it all begin?
He's just always been super smart, super cerebral.
He's just always aggressive. He's always a threat out there every time you guard him.
He's fine-tuning his game in many different ways.
He's just continued to grow.
As a teammate, as a leader, he's just a warrior.
Shai is going to be so good.
Shaivonte Asian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was born on July 12, 1998 in Ontario, Canada. His mother, Charmaine, an Olympic track and field star who competed in the 1992 Barcelona Games, passed down her physical gifts to Shai, while his father, Vaughn Alexander, fostered his love for basketball. From a young age, Shai learned the value of hard work and a winning mentality, driven by his mother's discipline.
He taught me the game at a really young age. He put the ball in my hands like around 3 years old, and ever since then, I just always loved dribbling around the house and stuff like that, and I just fell in love with it.
Did you break any windows?
Nah.
Come on now. Never?
I was a good kid. I didn't break no windows.
You never got in trouble?
No, nothing like that.
Shai started waking up earlier than anyone else. While everyone else was still asleep, he was outside, focused on how to improve his game. His father became his biggest mentor, helping him perfect every move, studying and analyzing each one. It was on those courts in Ontario during those early practices that he paved his way to success. But his real passion ignited after attending Toronto Raptors games during the Chris Bosh era. At 13, he was ready for his first major challenge, joining the UPlay Canada basketball program. However, in his early high school years, he was cut from the basketball team. Rather than giving up, Shai worked tirelessly to refine his skills, focusing on developing his ball screen abilities, a weapon that would later define his NBA career. He began private workouts with Dwayne Washington, the founder of UPlay Canada, who molded Shai into a pick-and-roll specialist. Washington described Shai's training as cerebral, centered on watching film and refining his execution. Shai honed 27 different drills focused on ball screens and pick-and-roll plays. Washington compared his potential to elite players like James Harden and Chris Paul, making Shai a unique force whose intelligence and relentless practice enabled him to master rare skills. Shai realized that if he wanted to become an NBA star, he needed to compete at a higher level, which led him to the United States, specifically to Hamilton Heights Christian Academy in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Accompanying him was his cousin Nickeil Alexander Walker, who also plays in the NBA for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Shai and Nickeil didn't just train together, they fought, laughed, and pushed each other to their limits. Every one-on-one wasn't just practice, it was war. And it was this rivalry that sharpened them both, forging their paths to the NBA. Despite his hard work, Shai was never seen as a prodigy, and many coaches and scouts considered his cousin Nickeil the better prospect. Instead of discouraging him, this drove Shai to work even harder, proving he was ready for bigger things. By the end of his senior year, Shai was averaging 18.4 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. His remarkable improvement caught the attention of several universities, including Florida. But Shai had his sights set on the University of Kentucky, knowing head coach John Calipari had a reputation for developing Canadian talent like Trey Lyles and Jamal Murray.
Initially, the first thing he told me was Kentucky is not for everybody. And right then I knew that I was going to have to compete every day and that's how I'm going to get better every day. That's all.
Shai knew that playing at Kentucky would be the best way to secure his future, and in 2017, his dream came true when the Wildcats recruited him.
The thing when he came with us, he was probably, he wasn't rated like the other guys, and and he had to improve his shot. He had a really slow release. And so every morning he was either in the gym shooting or watching video of himself playing, trying to get a mental picture of what we wanted. But he was doing it every morning and in the weight room because he was skinny. He, more than anyone on that team, gave the greatest effort. And in practice, he brought it every practice. And what you find out is it starts to add up.
From the very beginning, John Calipari knew he had a diamond in the rough with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There was something special about him, beyond his work ethic or his relentless drive to be the best. What set Shai apart was his intelligence on the court, making him a truly unique player. Calipari once said, "He can attack, but at the same time he's reading the game, seeing things unfold, making those late reads that are nearly impossible to defend." At Kentucky, things didn't start smoothly for Shai. In his first 15 games, he barely saw action off the bench. But if there's one thing Shai has always proven, it's that no matter how much he's underestimated, he will keep grinding until he reaches his goals. When the opportunity to start finally came, Shai seized it and never looked back.
Started the season coming off the bench. By the end of the season, you were the most important player for this Wildcats team. What changed in regards to your game as the season progressed?
I just think I got better each and every chance I got to. Every game I got better. Every practice I got better. I watched a lot of film and seeing the spots where I could take advantage of and stuff like that. And I just try to work at it every morning, and it paid off, and it did good.
He became the leader of his team, improving his stats game by game, earning the recognition he deserved. His mother, however, was cautious, always communicating with Coach Calipari to ensure Shai stayed humble and grounded, focused on his growth. Shai took his game to another level. Over 37 games, he averaged 14.4 points, 4.1 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and 1.6 steals per game. His standout performances earned him the SEC Tournament MVP, showcasing his leadership and impact, and Kentucky advanced to the NCAA Tournament, but fell short against Kansas State. However, Shai's brilliance on the court was undeniable, proving that he had the potential to dominate at the next level. His rise was just beginning, and the world was starting to take notice.
After talking to my family, my parents, and my coaches, I want to let the world know that I'll be entering my name to that 2018 NBA draft, and I'll be signed with an agent.
After just one season with the Wildcats, Shai declared for the 2018 NBA draft, ready to take the next step. On June 21st, 2018, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, a star-studded draft unfolded.
With the 11th pick in the 2018 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Hamilton, Canada, and the University of Kentucky.
Second Wildcat taken tonight as John Calipari continues to have his players.
With names like Trae Young, Colin Sexton, and Luka Doncic taking center stage, it was Shai's turn when the Charlotte Hornets selected him 11th overall. But in a twist, he was immediately traded to the Los Angeles Clippers for Miles Bridges and 2 future second-round picks.
I'm really excited. Have one of the best fan bases in the world. Also, I feel like they're in need for what I bring to the table, and I think I'll be a really good fit for them.
Shai would fulfill his dream of making it to the NBA, but like in previous stages of his career, his start wouldn't be easy. He found himself back on the bench and faced the tough reputation of Coach Doc Rivers, known for giving limited chances to young players and not being heavily invested in their development. Despite this challenge, Shai's resilience would prove pivotal as he fought to earn his place on the team and show his worth, proving that his journey to the top was far from over. It took just 9 games for the Clippers coach to realize that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserved a spot in the starting lineup. What happened next? Just like in high school and college, Shai never returned to the bench, showcasing his full range of abilities, especially his basketball IQ. In the NBA, there are only a few players capable of making lightning-fast decisions, anticipating plays, and reading both offensive and defensive situations with precision. This is what's known as basketball IQ, an intelligence on the court that allows players to dismantle their opponents without relying solely on their physical abilities. In the NBA, only a few players can make quick decisions, anticipate plays, and read both offensive and defensive situations. LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Nikola Jokic are masters of this, and now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has joined their elite ranks. Shai would begin to emerge as one of the key players for the Clippers, displaying his high basketball IQ, footwork, and ball handling skills. His numbers improved, averaging 10.8 points, 2.8 steals, 3.3 assists, an 80% free throw percentage, and 47.6% from the field in 82 games. These are impressive stats for a rookie point guard. The Clippers made it to the playoffs, where Shai took his game up a notch, averaging 13.7 points per game and boosting his three-point shooting to 50%. Despite his efforts, the Clippers were eliminated in 6 games by Stephen Curry's Warriors.
On Thompson. Ball deflected by the rookie. Gilgeous-Alexander, the steal, the drive, and finish.
There was no doubt that Alexander was one of the NBA's most promising point guards, but his career took an unexpected turn in the summer of 2019. Kawhi Leonard, fresh off winning the NBA championship and Finals MVP, expressed his desire to join the Clippers and bring Paul George along. The Clippers had no choice but to meet Leonard's demands, trading for George by sending Gilgeous-Alexander and Danilo Gallinari to the Thunder.
4 first-round picks, 4 unprotected future first-round picks, a protected future first-round pick, 2 pick swaps, and outstanding rookie point guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari.
For Shai, it was a strange situation, as he had to start over with a team where no one knew him and once again fight for his position. However, at Oklahoma City, he found one of his greatest mentors, Chris Paul, who played a crucial role in helping Shai evolve as a player.
It'd be great for him as a, quote, mentor, who can do stuff if he's there with the team. I think they could play together, and Chris is one of those guys that if it's time for Shai to have his hands on it, he'll let him go. And if it's time for him to make plays, Chris Paul, he'll do it. But they could play off of each other. I think it's going to be something that's good.
Stunned to say the least.
Trade happened unexpectedly for me. And my biggest concern, honestly, was, will the Thunder like me? Because the Clippers drafted me, the Thunder didn't. And I think that was my, motivation in the back of my head. But the first time I put on the jersey, they didn't know who I was, what I was about, and I wanted to show them.
Under Paul's mentorship, SGA sharpened his pick-and-roll abilities and quickened his decision-making. Together, they formed one of the highest basketball IQ duos in the league. What initially seemed like a doomed season for the Thunder without George became a surprising playoff run, thanks to Shai's growth and the leadership of Chris Paul.
Really cool playing with Shai, because one of the biggest things from the younger generation as they come through the NBA, you can't tell what hand they are. Like if they right-handed or left-handed. Like the way Shai uses his off hand is crazy. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of plays. Like we'll be in a timeout and I'll be like, look, Shai, when I used to go by people, this is the play that I would run. So now we're gonna run it for you. You know what I mean? So his ability to get to the rim and his ability to draw fouls and all that is...
Shai would go on to average 19 points per game, nearly doubling his scoring from his rookie year with the Clippers. His overall performance improved drastically on both ends of the floor. His shooting percentage in clutch moments ranked among the best in the league, and he led the NBA in game-saving steals. His jump shot improved, and his one-on-one scoring ability showed incredible growth.
Is on to him. Paul gets to the bucket for the lead. Gilgeous-Alexander got it! The Thunder lead by 1.
One highlight was his first career triple-double in January 2020 against Minnesota. That season, Oklahoma was knocked out in the first round of the playoffs by Houston in a 4-3 series. However, Shai's performances left everyone in awe. His teammates and coaches knew they were witnessing the rise of a special talent.
But the reason you go a long time from now is those actually might be valuable then. Sam Presti did this in 2007 when he traded all those guys away and started the rebuild around the 3 young players. Remember, he traded Ray Allen, and then he went and traded Rashard Lewis.
In his second season with Oklahoma, things took a downturn. General manager Sam Presti decided to rebuild the roster, trading away key veterans like Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, and Dennis Schroeder for future draft picks. This frustrated Shai, who felt his team was falling apart and saw little chance of competing that year. Shai had to adapt to the team's new vision, and without Chris Paul, he had become the leader of Oklahoma's fresh project under Sam Presti. SGA would start off on fire, continually elevating his numbers and shooting percentages. In a game against San Antonio, he would score 42 points, averaging 23.7 points per game, while raising his assist average to 5.9 and hitting an astonishing 41.8% from three-point range, the best percentage of his career.
Points here already in this third quarter.
Oh, SGA goes end to end in the scoop and score at the buzzer.
Shai transformed into a complete player, a relentless force ready to dismantle his opponents. However, after just 35 games, disaster struck. A severe foot injury that would sideline him for the remainder of the season, effectively burying the Thunder's campaign, where the few wins they managed were largely thanks to Shai. There was no doubt that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was no longer just a promising talent. He had become a reality. He was the cornerstone of the Oklahoma City Thunder, a well-rounded guard on both offense and defense with a basketball IQ unmatched by anyone in the new generation.
Really and truly, for me, it just comes down to, like, I want to be an NBA champion.
Yeah.
And so many great players throughout the years don't get to say they've done that.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest ever don't get to say they've done that. And those are guys that have put the work in, have done the right things, have been the top of the top for so long, and are amongst that group of guys and just don't get to accomplish that. And there's so much more that goes into it than just the individual, and so much things that you have to, like, do right and get a little bit lucky to figure it out. I mean, that's something that if I can figure that out, then I'll really be satisfied.
What makes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander so exceptional? Is he truly a candidate to dominate the NBA in the coming years? Shai, in his 6 years in the NBA, has transformed into an incredibly versatile player, boasting a high basketball IQ, masterful control over the game's tempo, impeccable footwork, and lethal one-on-one skills. Shai is the kind of player who will always find the best opportunity to score or assist.
This is off of Green. He can't defend him. Hit the offensive glass a lot more. Yeah. A lot of times he gets caught floating around.
But his abilities didn't simply stem from raw talent. Shai was never a prodigy, but a relentless worker with a steel mentality passed down from his mother. He spent hours training privately with his father, dissecting videos of his successes and failures, and tirelessly repeating the mechanics and concepts of the game. It's this tireless dedication that has shaped him into the player he is today.
Can you think of another NBA star who got cut from his high school team?
I've heard Michael Jordan ask.
But what are the secrets behind his ability to dismantle opponents so effortlessly? One of Shai's most powerful tools is his footwork. His constant changes in rhythm leave defenders disoriented. He often pauses to scan the court, either eyeing the rim or his teammates, and in a flash, he bursts past defenders, leaving them in his wake as he drives toward the basket. This makes him the most unpredictable player in the NBA. Unlike others who tend to telegraph their rhythm changes, Shai can explode at any moment. In situations no defender sees coming, he slides between defenses, creating his own space for the perfect shot. Shai isn't a traditional point guard. At 6'6", his height would be a challenge for most players in that position, but not for him. His quick footwork allows him to move fluidly in the paint. He uses his body with precision. Shai often bumps into defenders to create just enough space for an open shot or drives to the basket for a clean finish. And when the situation gets tighter, he uses his incredible wingspan to keep the ball out of defenders' reach and finish with ease. Today, complete players are rare in the NBA, and Shai stands out by adding defensive versatility to his offensive arsenal. His impressive wingspan allows him to guard multiple positions, whether on the perimeter or in the post, averaging 4.7 rebounds and 1.4 steals per game throughout his career. He's even led the league in clutch time steals at times. Shai's shooting is yet another lethal weapon in his arsenal, whether finishing at the rim or with his exceptional mid-range jumper. Thanks to the endless tools in his game, SGA always finds space to execute shots on the move, giving him a huge edge over defenders. But where coaches, analysts, and teammates are truly in awe of Shai is in his limitless options on the court. A master of the pick and roll, the delayed between the legs, or the hesitation dribble. No matter the defender or context, Shai always has a move ready.
What he does, especially when they have floor space the way they do and some of the offense they run, like everybody's kind of a threat out there, and you know he takes advantage of the driving angles, and when he's making tough contested twos. Part of it is kind of shots you live with, but not that many. So that's what the league is about, like, you know, scores of his caliber, winning games for a team by hitting tough shots.
His ball handling, diverse dribbling moves, changes in pace, and mid-range jumper make him a deadly one-on-one player, leaving defenders embarrassed in every highlight reel. Defensively, his court vision and anticipation allow him to disrupt passing lanes effortlessly.
I think my advantage comes from not knowing what I'm going to do. I was like unorthodox, like offbeat, slithery, being unpredictable.
Force the middle, force the middle!
And doing things that are like not seen a lot.
His years in Oklahoma have also sharpened his three-point shooting and decision-making in the pick and roll, transforming him into a well-rounded, intelligent player and a constant threat on both ends of the court. Gilgeous-Alexander continued to showcase his skills. In his third year with Oklahoma, he recorded his second career triple-double against Denver and hit a game-winning three-pointer against his former team, the Clippers, a shot with Shai's signature all over it. By the 2022 to 2023 season, Oklahoma began to see the progress of its young players, with Shai's influence evident on both his teammates and the future of the franchise. That season, he dropped a career-high 44 points against the Pelicans. Night after night, Shai put on a show, delivering 30 and 40-point performances, clutch game winners, and an unmatched command of the game. His breakout season earned him his first All-Star appearance and a spot on the All-NBA first team, with averages of 31.4 points and an incredible 90% free throw shooting. Despite his stellar play, Oklahoma failed to reach the playoffs, another heartbreak for Shai.
A lot of those people have been there from the beginning, kind of the start of my journey, and have seen my transformation as a basketball player and as a person.
In his sixth season, Shai cemented his status as a franchise player, leading a rejuvenated Oklahoma City Thunder, now bolstered by the return of Chet Holmgren and the development of Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey. Together with these young stars, OKC began to take off, becoming a versatile, fast-paced team capable of both attacking and defending with multiple options on the court. This success would not have been possible without Shai's relentless work over the years, where he remained humble, focused on improving his game, lifting his teammates, and contributing to the team's growth.
Well, it was just very fun, and I think that's where it all starts. Like every day you come to work, well, it doesn't feel like work, but you come to work and you try to excel individually and as a group. And when you have so much fun, it makes everything else easier and kind of clouds all the bad stuff because you're having so much fun. So that's what I'm most proud about and most grateful for, how fun this group has been and how much this group has taken the ease off of all the pressure and all the stuff that gets heavy in this game.
After 4 long years, the Thunder returned to the playoffs with an outstanding record of 57 wins and 25 losses, leading the Western Conference. Shai's influence was undeniable, leading his team in points with 30.1 per game, assists at 6.2, and steals with 2.0. With multiple 40-point games against Cleveland, Golden State, Denver, Chicago, and Sacramento, Shai earned his second consecutive All-Star selection and was named Player of the Month in December. He finished the season with the 3rd highest points per game average in the NBA, behind only Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shai also had 51 games of 30 points or more, leading the league in that category, and was the 2nd highest vote getter for MVP, ultimately losing to Nikola Jokic. In the first round of the playoffs, Shai and the Thunder swept the New Orleans Pelicans, marking their first playoff series win since 2016. However, they fell to the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games during the second round, with Shai undeniably standing out as the team's best player. As of today, Shai continues to dismantle opponents and tear down defenses with his incredible basketball IQ. His ability to read the game, anticipate plays, make the right decisions, and transform a struggling team into one of the most promising franchises has made him a truly unique player in this new generation. The future looks bright for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder, but the question remains, how far can Shai go with his mind and his game? Can he lead the Thunder to a championship, or will a change of scenery be necessary? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video if you want to keep discovering the best stories in the NBA. See you next time.